guys, this is Liam from Television, and this is my interview for Blockbuster Tips. First off, I'd just like to say a big thank you for letting me get involved. It's an honour, and yeah, let's get started with the interview. I became interested in filmmaking quite a while ago. It'd probably be when I was 11, 10, I'm not too sure. It was in between primary school going into secondary school. It's like, it was kind of weird because I began very early making movies on PowerPoint, and however weird that sounds, like I'd literally use clip art and stuff, and this was when I was very young, and I'd animate pictures and I'd move them about, and I'd do my drawings on paint, and I'd make my own films using PowerPoint as a way to animate them and bring them to life. And then it went from there, and then I moved on to camcorders, and then I'd start experimenting with computer games and stuff, and I'd film like things off Need for Speed, off The Sims and stuff. I'd try and edit it together, and that's how I began editing. It is pretty ridiculous how I started, but after that, yeah, I think I've improved since then, but it's where I started has really influenced how I went on from there. Right, I've got 3 DVDs to hand here, and this is a toughie for me because there are plenty of films that I could bring into this. Recently I've been checking out Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez's collaboration work, I mean especially their Grindhouse features. So I bought Death Proof and Planet Terror, and I absolutely love Planet Terror because it's got everything that I think a good action / horror needs. Moving on, number 2, The Shining. Now this is another film that I bought recently. I mean I saw it when I was young, and I liked it then. The cinematography in this film is just amazing. My third one, this is a toughie because this was between this, Cloverfield and Blair Witch, because I class these sort of films together anyway. Most of you might know the American remake, Quarantine. The Spanish version is so much better. Right, the camera that I use is what I'm recording with at the moment. It's a Sony Handycam, and I can't actually remember the model of it, so I apologise. This is a Kodak ZI-8. It was a tough choice between this and a flip camera, but I think the quality of this is much better. I don't think the type of camera that you use matters really, it's how you use it. Now this is a tough question because I think filmmaking itself is a combination of a lot of different things. I think you're the best piece of equipment there's other than the camera, and then being able to adapt. Got anything to do with like the equipment that you use, like sound, for sound and all that sort of stuff, or editing. You've got to be able to get the shot in the first place to then use that stuff with it. You need to train yourself up to then go out and do stuff. I currently edit with Sony Vegas Pro 9, and I use After Effects CS3 to do my compositing and effects. I hope to, in the future, to expand. I mean, I use Photoshop and things for matte paintings and things like that. And there's the free version of the software which I probably use more than Photoshop, called GIMP. I know it's got a funny name, but it is free, and I think a lot of the things it does equally to Photoshop. If you start in with a normal video camera, Windows Movie Maker is fine. You've just got to, you need to get practicing. My dream camera, I think it's just going to be just whatever I can get my hands on. But in the future I hope to have my own set of cameras that are brilliant quality and stuff. But it'd be my dream camera to have my dream camera would probably be to have a 3D enabled one. I think that'd be incredible. That'd be amazing, you know, to shoot my own 3D feature. Now those two things I think are something that need to work together. I think visual is so important, and it establishes your style as like a director or filmmaker. But the performance is what makes the film what it is. I mean, everyone's going to notice shoddy acting, so you need that performance to support the visual. But if you've got a brilliant performance and the visual's terrible, then that won't support that. So there are two things that I think go hand in hand. They need to they both need to be pretty good to pull it off and get a good look out of the whole thing. I would have to probably say Fallen, because it has been incredibly challenging, and I mean I'm still filming it at the moment, and I've really pushed myself with the visual effects thing. I mean I've had to learn pretty fast to get some of the shots that I've wanted. I think another hard thing that I had to do was the Slumber Party trailer and scenes that I made, because I mean working with cast, you've got to arrange a time and a day and a place where everyone's going to be able to get there. I can't always guarantee that everyone's going to turn up, and I had to literally make that in a day, so it was quite frantic. We had a lot to do, and you've got to be prepared for everything, and you've got to know that you need to get this done and how you're going to do it before you do it, because honestly I think if I'd have gone in that unprepared and I'd have just started and I'd have tried to improvise all of it, it just wouldn't have worked. My dream job would be directing like a major Hollywood film. That'd just be incredible. Just directing in general, to be honest. Even if I started at the bottom and worked my way up, just getting anywhere in the film industry today. The advice that I give to people is just keep at it. It's something that takes time. I mean, I started probably making films about, I think it would be about 5 years ago now, like making films like properly with a camera and actors and stuff. But I'd moved on to YouTube recently, but I think the thing with filmmaking is you have to keep at it. It isn't something that just comes to you straight away. I mean, with editing and directing and getting the shots right and stuff, it's something that takes practice, because if you make mistakes but you learn from them in filmmaking, and I think you should never give up. You should never think to yourself, this is impossible, this is far too hard for me to do this, because although it might seem like that, I can't express to you how amazing it feels, you know, when you've got that shot, you've got it all edited together, and then you see people appreciating your work and your hard time and all the blood, sweat and tears and everything that's gone into that. It just feels brilliant. I think it's the best feeling in the world. It's definitely going to take practice, and it's going to take time. You're going to have to establish your own style, your own things, and don't worry about what equipment you've got. If you haven't got the most expensive editing suite in the world, or you haven't got the greatest camera, at least you've took your initiative and your own time to think, right, I've got a camera, I've got some sort of editing software, I'm going to make a shot and I'm going to edit it together and I'm going to make a film. And I think that's the best thing you can do. You've just got to keep at it, keep making films, get your own portfolio going. So yeah, just do your best. I think that's the best advice that I can give to anyone, and it's, if anything, that's what I've learned myself. You've got to stick at it, because sometimes it does get hard and you want to give up, but you just can't. Okay, that's the end of the interview, so thank you for asking me all those difficult questions. Thank you Blockbuster Tips for inviting me to the interview. Bye, and keep making films.